5 days. That's the time it took me to fix one tiny error that I made in my CAD design while I was working on designing the neck for the multiscale Dorian. That wasn't 5 days working on the neck. That wasn't 5 days machining the neck. And thankfully, it wasn't even 5 days of sanding the neck. It was 5 days of meticulously rebuilding almost the entire CAD file, all because of one tiny mistake, one tiny little thing that I did early on in the design process that should have never happened. At the time, it felt pretty harmless, just something that I was doing to help move progress along. But in the end, it cost me not only 5 days of fixing this problem, but I also had to remake the neck that you just watched me make in the previous video. I want to show you that tiny mistake in hopes that you don't make that. I'm Jeff. You're watching Home Built Workshop. Why is it so dark in here? Can we turn on some of these lights? Like, this is crazy. Is it like dramatic or something? Let's turn on the lights and talk about this problem. Alrighty, so now that we can see a little bit as to what's going on, let me explain to you how we ended up in the situation that we're at. In the last video, link in the description if you haven't seen it, you watched me build this exact neck on my CNC machine. The neck turned out great. All of the cuts went perfect. Everything looks amazing, except this neck is wrong. I didn't know that at the time, but it is. It wasn't until after I had edited the video, uploaded the video, got everything scheduled for the video to go live, and I started to go back and do some work on this. Part of the process was I installed this in the sample body, and I was literally just holding it, feeling it, looking at it, examining it. I like to put my hands on and try to just take it all in, experiment it, see if there's anything wrong, anything I need to change, adjustments, that sort of thing. And although I have done this with several sample necks made on some scrap wood, I was sitting there on the couch, just kind of examining it, looking at everything, and I thought, man, that neck feels just a little bit wide. Might just be me, might be because I'm trying to wrap my head around the multiscale, but it just felt a little bit wide. So I set the sample down and I jumped into my CAD software to double check my dimensions. Even though I'd already made a neck, I wanted to make sure. I went into my parameters, and sure enough, I had made this neck several millimeters too wide. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but it is. It's not where I want it. So I thought, this will be an easy fix. I have the nut location and width built into a parameter. All I need to do is go into the parameter, update the parameter, and everything is going to automatically update. I'd still have to make a new neck, but at least I can quickly make that adjustment and make this the correct width. So that's exactly what I did. I went in, I changed the parameter to where the neck width should be, hit OK, and that's where everything went awry. When I changed that nut width, everything in my drawing broke. Everything that's driven off of anything that has to do with the neck width. That means the lofts for the heel transition and the headstock transition, all of that broke. The width broke. The neck pocket broke. The access carves, which are driven off the edges of the neck pocket, all broke. Everything in my drawing broke. It was an immediate disaster. But the strange thing was, if I put the parameter back to where it was originally, poof, everything was magically fixed. Now really, there's two mistakes here overall. First off, I used the wrong dimensions to start. I still made a mistake in the design that I wouldn't have caught though, but had I used the right dimensions the first time around, I would have never kind of went down this road. The first mistake was one of the guitars that I was using as inspiration was a 7-string. And without even thinking, I just grabbed the dimension for the neck, the width, and I plugged that into my drawing. So I used the 7-string width for mine. I'm not making a 7-string, I'm building a 6-string. So I started off with the wrong dimension in the first place. Now really, is this a big deal? No. Had I done the design correctly, I would have been able to just update this with no issue. So after I changed the nut width and everything had broken, I didn't initially know what had gone wrong. All I know is that I had a ton of warnings on my screen about all of these sketches and design elements that were broken. And literally, I spent the first day just trying to backtrack and figure out what the heck just happened here. It wasn't until the beginning of that second day, I had literally scrolled all the way back on my timeline and started going one by one through each error, through dozens of sketches, dozens of operations. It was in that very first sketch that I found out what happened. The mistake that I made was very early on in the very first sketch during this design process. I started with laying out the fretboard. I wanted all the fret locations, I wanted the width, I wanted basically the outline of the fretboard to build off of. I use that as basically the base. Of course, the headstock can't get located until I know where the nut's going to go. I can't design the neck pocket until I know how long the neck is, how wide the neck is. I need this dimension to be set in stone, basically, before I can build everything else around it. One of the most important elements here, as far as I'm concerned, is the nut location and the nut width. Everything gets built upon it. The end of the fretboard is based on where the nut is. You can't design the headstock unless you know where the nut's going to be. You can't lay out the rest of the fretboard without knowing where the nut's going to be. So in order to keep things in place while I dimensioned everything, I did not want this nut location and width to move around. Now, good design practice is to fully constrain and dimension your sketch. That means you're telling every element its size, its location, the way it's connected to other elements. And in order to do that, I wanted to make sure that this nut width did not move. I wanted it to stay where it was while I applied all of these other dimensions and constraints. What I did to keep everything in place was to go into Fusion. You can right-click on a line and select Fixed. I fixed this nut width so that it would absolutely not change while I applied other dimensions. Now, those of you that are familiar with Fusion and the functions like that, you will already know exactly why that was a problem. Now, initially, it didn't really seem like a problem. I said, I'm just going to fix this line. I'm going to apply all of my other constraints and dimensions around it. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to change that back to the dynamic state so that it can adjust. Because when you fix a line in Fusion, it basically says it will not move. It doesn't matter what constraint, it doesn't matter what other things are connected to it, that thing will not move. So what happened was I went in and I finished all of my constraints. The sketch was fully constrained, except I forgot a very important thing. You guessed it. I never went back to that nut line width and set it unfixed. I left that line fixed the entire time. So how that broke my design was when I went in to update that parameter never updated, but everything else tried to update accordingly. So that broke all of my lofts, that broke the width, that broke everything because this line wouldn't move. But everything else tried its best. It tried to create the dimensions that I was asking for, but that nut width line would not let it happen. And this broke not only, like I mentioned, the neck model, it broke the model for the body because the neck pocket broke. It broke the positioning for dozens and dozens of features. It was an absolute disaster. Once I discovered that was the issue, the light bulb went off. Immediately I understood what I had done wrong. I understood why everything was destroyed. And I knew that the only real correct fix was not to accept the neck that was a little bit too wide, but I knew I had to go error by error by error by error through the mile-long timeline and fix everything one by one. So that's what I did. Over the next 2 days, I spent literally 2 full days going sketch by sketch, making these fixes, and slowly, error by error would clear. as soon as I made these adjustments, and I finally got all the way to the end of the timeline and everything was fixed. I had to redesign so many things just to make sure that all of the dimensions were correct. And now I've got everything fixed. But once everything was fixed, the model was fixed, now my test models, they weren't right either because my dimensions had changed. So I had to go all the way back through, recreate my G-code. This wasn't terrible either because I just had to go back in, select all of the geometry again, and all of my settings were still there. So it just had to regenerate, and I exported that G-code, and I got to make the entire test body, all of that again. So now, here's where we're at. This is the new neck to replace the bad one. It is completely done. It is ready. We are at the exact same step as I was at the end of the video for this neck. Now, unfortunately, this is a reminder of a mistake that I made. This is the real neck. The width is correct, even though it was only a few millimeters difference. I could feel it. And now it feels great, right where I want it. This is also another test body, except this was some reclaimed wood from a piece of furniture. I never sanded the finish off because I just thought, well, let's have a look and see what it is. We've got the new body in there. It's basically the same as that, except a little bit different and updated. So now we are back on track. I've got my model fixed. Everything works as it should now. And I learned a valuable lesson. And that lesson is, if you can avoid setting a line to fixed when you're designing a project in Fusion, you really should consider not going that route. But at the bare minimum, don't forget to set it back to the unfixed state, especially if it's for something that you need to be able to update through a parameter. Huge lesson learned for me. Unfortunate 5 days of fixing a mistake, but now my model is exactly as I want it. Everything is on par, the specs are correct, and we're ready to move forward. One thing I want to address that is probably a valid question. You may be thinking, man, it sure sounds like a lot of work. Isn't it just easier to build this the old school way using templates and routers instead of messing with this CAD and CNC? Quite honestly, I'd say the answer is maybe so. And really, if I was building just one guitar, the answer would probably be undoubtedly yes. But that's not my goal. We all have different goals in building our instruments. From day one, the reason that I purchased a CNC was because of the accuracy and repeatability. I wanted to be able to create my guitar designs so that I can just load the files and create 1, 5, or 25, however many I need to make, and I know for a fact that they're going to be all the same. All the dimensions are going to fit. Everything is just going to work. They're just accurate and repeatable. And that's why I'm choosing to use CNC. Another reason I'm going through all this trouble is because once I get these parameters correct, it's so easy to make an adjustment. It's just a couple of clicks in a data field and boom, everything adjusts properly if the file is designed properly. The bottom line here, though, is the fact that we all have different ways of doing things and different reasons behind why we choose to do the things we do. I'm not saying one method is right or one method is wrong. There's lots of different methods here. This is just the method that I choose to do. And like I said, for the accuracy and repeatability, those are some of the main reasons that I'm choosing to go down this rabbit hole. And this was a rabbit hole, 5 days long. So don't take this whole thing as I'm trying to push CNC on you and it's worth it. If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. I've built many guitars using templates. There's nothing wrong with either way. Now that this is fixed, I'm ready to move on to the next steps. Instead of making this video, I should have been installing frets on a neck. But my mistake cost me 5 days of work. But I got to learn a valuable lesson. I hope this was helpful. Hope you guys learned a little something through my mistakes. And I'm ready to now, in the next episode, get some frets put in this neck. Let me know your thoughts down below. What's the worst mistake you have ever made in your CAD process, designing stuff, that sort of thing? Let me know. I'd love to hear. I want to learn from you guys as well. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. Took a long time to get to this state there, neck, but you're ready. And I'm sorry. I don't know what we're going to do with you. Maybe we put something on here and hang you on the wall. Check your work, or a good saying to put on there. That might be kind of fun. I need a good saying. Leave that down below too.